Hey everybody, it is Elson932 on YouTube. Welcome on in. Hit a one if you're here and you could definitely hear me. Um, this is in response to folks in my comments, folks sending me messages. It was like, girl, you need to talk about what's going on. Hey Ari, you need to talk about what's going on, give your unsolicited opinion, your unsolicited advice to something. So I'm trying to make this like a lunchtime little chit chat we could do, LSID style. I have some stories out there. Hey Tanya, I have some stories out there that we are going to like nibble on, okay? But some is a full meal. I don't understand what's going on out here. Hey Letitia, and to begin with, I'm going to take it from full disclosure from Reddit. These are people on Reddit asking for advice. There are things happening in their life I just don't understand. I don't get. As a married woman, I guess y'all will have to help me, y'all out there in the dating world. Okay. So let me pull up the first story we're going to talk about. Whew, child, dating. Okay. And I'm going to read it for you. So this person said, our date went very well, but she asked me to pay for her babysitter afterward. I haven't been on a date for a long time and I need some advice. So, this is a 34-year-old male and had the first date after a divorce. Met this girl who's 31 at a friend's party. They clicked, they went out. He asked her out a couple times, but she always told another time, another time. So, they did go out. They had a great date. The bar was close to her place, so he walked her home, gave her a kiss goodnight. And on the way home, she texted him, to let her. He texted her. Everybody let them know we're home, and they've been texting to set up another date. And she asked, could he send her some money for her babysitting for the evening? Okay, so he's thinking it's a bit over the top. He's like, I also have a daughter from my marriage, and I pay my nephew to take care of her for the evening when I go out. He says, I know that if I pursue this girl, her kids will be a part of my life. He has no issue with that. Most people his age has kids. The issue is he doesn't know how he feels about her asking for him to pay babysitting money after the first date. There's no agreement. She didn't mention a babysitter. He was married for 8 years. And for the first time in a long time, he had what he thought was a normal date and a normal moment. So, yeah, my unsolicited advice or opinion. I think it's a little too much for a first date. It's a little too much. Asking someone to pay for a babysitter, exactly, Tanya, not his responsibility. Him take he don't even know this child. I'm sorry, I'm gonna put it like that. He don't know this child. He don't know you. He don't know if this is gonna go any further. If you couldn't handle the babysitting, then don't go on the date, young lady. If you couldn't pay for the sitter, don't go on the date with him. Just chalk it up to this can't happen. I have responsibilities, and I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to let this good man go because I don't know him either. So that's why I put up quotation signs. So asking him for money for the babysitting, not cool. He facilitated the date. He paid for the date. He made it close to your home, walked you home, all of that good chivalrous stuff. We're pushing the 8 ball when we're asking him to also pay for babysitting. That's a little too much. Let the gentleman offer to pay for babysitting. Let him offer to take care of this additional expense because, as he said, he's divorced. He has his own child. He knows that all of these things need to be taken care of. He knows. He sounds grown. He does sound like a grown up making rational decisions. He solicited his nephew to babysit for him. Now I'm going to ask, does he have full custody of his child? Because if you're going out on a date with this lady and you only seeing your kid every other weekend, and this is your weekend with your kid, I'm going to have to then question his thought process. Because if this is the weekend you have with your child and you're taking time away from your child to go on a date, you're gonna have to reschedule that date, sir. Hey, Sunshine, welcome on in. If this is your weekend with your child, if it is a weekend to weekend thing, I'm gonna have to question your decisions as a dad. But I do not agree that this man has to pay for babysitting or even, you know, take into consideration that she had to pay for a sitter. I'm sorry, not happening. Not I don't know what the chat thinks, and if you have a different opinion, please put it in the comments as well. This is unsolicited advice. This is the new thing I'm trying for this LCID 932 channel. So let me know what you think. Should he pay for that babysitter? She asked, he didn't offer. I say no. But whatever you think, please put in a comment. Please put it in the chat. So we're going to cover 3. I promise this is going to be real sweet and simple. I'm going to try to do these like little lunchtime chats or these smaller videos while we're waiting for our next Love is Blind session to come around. Remember, this Sunday, I'm also going to be covering Love is Blind Mexico. I'm going to talk about the whole season because if you thought other Love is Blind was hot, Mexico was giving. Sunshine says, hell to the no. He don't have to pay for that babysitter. So, sir, I know this is a little channel. I'm hoping you see it. This was a Reddit advice, article. So I'm hoping you see it. And most of the people in the comments have told him no. So I'm hoping that folks are on the same page. So let's get to the next one. I promise you the last one is spicy, so stick with me. So this one is about an anniversary trip. These are young people, y'all. These are young people. Look at the age. So this is a 21-year-old young lady, and she has a 22-year-old young man. That's her boyfriend of 4 years. They were going on an anniversary trip, and he got his half of the anniversary trip paid for by his parents. It was supposed to be a present they gave to each other. Okay, they have a trip for their anniversary. They decided to each pay for half instead of doing presents. So the trip is their present to each other. They both don't have jobs. Can we say that again? They both don't have jobs as they are in college, but they're going to work full-time over the summer. It goes on to say, we are both very broke, but our parents help us out a lot to pay our rent. I'm going to say it again. We are both very broke, but our parents help us out a lot to pay the rent. He asked his parents to pay for his half, and they ended up paying his entire half of the trip. I'm still paying almost $500, and he's now paying nothing. Now it doesn't feel as meaningful. What do you guys think? Could I ask him to pay for activities or even a small present for me? Now, yeah, that's why I start off saying they're real young, 21 and 22. Why are we going on anniversary trips? Tanya says irresponsible, very irresponsible. Why are we going on anniversary trips? We don't have the money for rent, yet we are talking about an anniversary trip. Now, as grown as we are, Miss Delson and I would do the same thing. We forego presents sometimes so we can take a very, very big trip. And but we are adults with full-time jobs. We are paying our own way. So you being college students and then you're not paying your rent, your parents are paying for it. Why would you think an anniversary trip is necessary? Sunshine says delusional. I agree with you, Sunshine. I'm not sure where we are in this thought process of anniversary trips and we don't have jobs. We don't have jobs. I never understood the whole spring break trip to when we don't have jobs. People, students going and spending this money for spring break trips who are students. I'm like, I remember when I was a student. I mean, I wasn't dirt broke like this young lady is talking, but daggone it, as a student, I was putting pennies together for school. Pennies were putting together and rubbing together for school, not for trips. Yes, trips are for people with money. Sunshine, you're right. Hey, Jay Blake, welcome to the chat. We're talking about this young couple, 21 and 22. They don't have jobs. Parents are helping them pay the rent. They want to take an anniversary trip. Yet he got his half paid for by his parents. She's complaining. She's complaining that he got his half paid. Now she got to pay for the other side of the $500. Here's my thing. Where are we going on an anniversary trip for two people? That's $1,000. That's my question. Maybe the broke college students know exactly where to go to have a couples trip for only $1,000. Because I know my couples trip with Mr. L said don't be no two people for no $1,000. Now it don't be all the way expensive. It don't be all the way, all the way out there. But it definitely ain't no $1,000. Sunshine says, I wish my daughter would. So where's she finding this? Well, they did say, sorry, I forgot it a little bit. I was about to say, where's she find this 500? She said they will be working full time for the summer. So we'll be putting that money together for that trip. Why are we going on an anniversary trip when you admit that you are very broke? Why are we doing that? It seems, as we have said in the chat, irresponsible and delusional. Okay? if you want to know anything, very irresponsible and very delusional. Put it in the comments if my unsolicited advice is, the same as yours, or even if it's not, put it in the comments, because this unsolicited advice is, baby girl, y'all don't need to go on the trip. Y'all really don't need to. That $500 his parents paid could have helped y'all have an additional month in rent. Take a trip to the aquarium. Take a trip to your local city and be a tourist. If you have one of those hop on, hop off buses in your city, pay for that and be a tourist in your own town. Those kinds of staycations may be, maybe a little mild for some, but guess what? It's not going to cost you $500. It's not going to cost you the rent that you don't have, that your parents are clearly paying for. So my unsolicited advice is keep your behinds home. Keep your behinds home. Work that job for the summer and save the money, because guess what? Once you graduate, your parents ain't paying for all of that. Your parents ain't paying for all of that. Ari says, go to a spa if able. Ari, that is a great suggestion, and I would go further with that. Check a local spa. It doesn't have to be a chain. I have a local spa in my town. It is a small family-run business, and when I tell you, you can get a day at the spa for a fraction of what you may pay at a chain. I ain't gonna tell you how much, because then y'all gonna be coming to my town, and then I can't get on the schedule because all of y'all flooding my town. But I'll just say it's less than $500 for a whole spa day, including meals and snacks and a little beverage. So find that local spa in your town. So great suggestion, Ari. So our unsolicited advice is to do exactly what the chat is suggesting and what I'm suggesting. Don't go nowhere. Stay home and find something enjoyable locally by supporting even small business. Because, girl, if you can't pay the rent now, it's going to be worse when you go on that trip. And there are expenses on those trips that you don't even account for. I'm telling you, I hope it ain't an international trip, but I don't know where they're going for two people for $1,000, y'all. I really don't know. Maybe that's the question I should have for them. Where did you find a couple's trip for $1,000? And what is is it at least a 4-star hotel? Because I doubt it. I doubt it. The last one, because I said this is going to be little bites. I'm going to do these unsolicited advice based on, people's questions out there. They're asking for advice of the internet. I'm going to be part of the internet and do this. So while I pull up the next one, please like, please share and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all of y'all being here. Now, this is for the grown folks, please. This one is for the grown folks. Okay? I titled this Amazing but Small. And because of YouTube, I have to, how can I say it? I have to blur out some words, y'all. Okay? I have to blur out some words just to give you the grown people vibes. Let me see. What? Ari said it cannot be international because my flight going to a country in Europe was over 1,000 round trip. That isn't even getting a hotel room. Well, some people travel and they do hostels. So I don't know if some people, they just don't need to have a hotel. They can certainly even rent a room out of a local family spot. I have seen in Europe. That ain't my type of vacation. But I don't know yet. It can't be Europe. I don't think you could fly across the U.S. for $1,000 for two people. That's just me. But let me go back to amazing but small. And ladies, she's asking for mainly the ladies' advice. If we have a gentleman in the chat, maybe you can give advice to the man in this instance. So there it is. Says this 36-year-old male is amazing, treats me very well, but he is a very small member. And the intimacy is not good. I don't know what to do. This is not their main account. That's why they say it's a throwaway, because their friends know their main account. So she said she met this guy a couple of months ago. He's super nice and fun, intellectually on the same level, similar interests, similar perspective on life in general. He's a very down-to-earth guy, ready to have a steady relationship and adores me. The problem is he has a very small member, okay? And not very good in the sack overall. Now, this person is saying they're a very intimate person and it's very important to her. And she specifically wants woman's advice on this. Is there anyone in this situation? So she says, perfect boyfriend, terrible intimacy. What am I going to do? Lady, she's asking for us. Is there anyone that has been in this similar situation? This is for the grown, y'all. This is unsolicited advice. Okay? Now, I have questions. I have lots of questions. Yes, Ari and Oop. So, I have a question. Is he open to training? Okay? Now, the size of the vessel, isn't always all there is. Okay? The size of the vessel is not determined by the size of the ocean. So I'm just going to ask, can he listen? Can he learn? There are other things that can be utilized to get you to the promised land. I always say you can get to the promised land. It's just your journey may be different. Your journey may need additional assistance, but he has to be open to learning and he has to be open to using the advice. So if you are a traditionalist that it has to be the vessel that gets you there, then maybe you need to leave him. Because if you are not satisfied by another method, then you're gonna have to go. Now, the member ain't the only thing that he can use on his body to get you there. So I have a question. Is he open to learn? Is he willing to use toys, as we said in the chat? Is he open to using other parts of his body that may be very well equipped? If he is not open to that, then girl, you got to run. You got to leave. Yeah, he could be a good friend. I also have a question. Is it after a couple months? How did we just fall in after a couple months? And clearly you're staying there, even though the intimacy is not good. Something is keeping you there. You say y'all are intellectual. He treats you very well. So if that is enough, then you're going to have to, how can I say it, self-satisfy. If you want to stay with him because he treats you well, intellectually, everything is on the same level, you going to have to, if you decide to stay, end up being self-satisfied. And he will have to understand that you self-satisfied. But sir, you're going to have to give a how did he get here? These are grown folks. These are in their 30s. How did he get here? So I'm also looking at the line of partners before her, because I'm going to say, for man or woman, gently as we can, you got to give an assessment. If this dude was with you previously and you did not give him a proper assessment, I'm going to look at you funny too. I'm going to look at you funny. Because you should have told this man, this ain't it. It's not your responsibility to train him. No. I'm just saying, the assessment, he should know that is lacking. Okay, he should know. And on another note, maybe he does know. Maybe that's why he's being so nice. Maybe that's why he is the perfect boyfriend according to this person, because he knows he's lacking in a major area. So Ari says, I'm just going to say it right now, leave the man. Leave the man. Because intimacy is important to every relationship where the people aren't asexual. So just leave him because you will be resentful. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Hey Sanders. Hey Sanders. Yeah, you're a little late, but to summarize, this young lady has a perfect boyfriend, very intellectual. They're on the same level, treats her very well. He is awesome, but his vessel is not at a size to satisfy. And she's asking for the ladies' advice. So Jay Blake says, leave the man. Leave the man, leave the man, leave the man. So I guess many in my chat are not with the self-satisfied route. He's providing everything, everything. He is wonderful in every area, but he missed the blessings down below. That's all I'm going to say. He missed his blessings down below. So the man is perfect in every way, but the blessings has fallen short on the lower half. So are we saying that we giving up on our brothers? Are we giving up on them? I mean, seriously. I'm not saying she should train him. She should train him for her needs if he's listening. If he's not listening, leave him. If he is willing to learn, maybe your path to the promised land is through a different route. But if it's not, and the vessel size and the blessings is important to you, then girl, you got to leave. You got to leave him if that is your route to the promised land. But Sunshine said she can't. Well, you can't. I warned y'all, this is called unsolicited advice. Y'all know me, Elsa 932. I'm going to be saying things in a very dramatic flair, in a different way. So we're going to be talking about these things, either about, people lackluster on blessings, people making, not so sound financial decisions. We're going to be giving unsolicited advice here in the comments, here on the live chat. Ari says, I get the feeling she'd have to teach him to please her all the time, and that sounds absolutely exhausting. Now, Ari, that may be a good exhaustion, because if we got to keep on trying and trying and trying and trying, it could be exhausting, but we get to try. It's better to try and fail than to fail to try. It depends on the try, because it could be a good kind of exhausting. Are the grown folks in the chat understanding what I'm saying? It may be a good type of exhausting, or it may be a frustrating type of exhausting if you never get to the promised land and he just ain't learning. If he just ain't learning, I'm sorry. If he's not learning, he's not willing to learn, and you are not okay with self-satisfied, then you got to leave. Because what I'm also thinking is, if he's lacking blessings, I would not want to procreate and possibly my child end up with a lack of blessings because of the sins of the father. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to go that far. If you're not willing to stay here with this man, if he doesn't learn, if he doesn't want to, and you end up having to self-satisfy, you might end up with your son, getting a lack of blessings because of his dad. Or his son may get the blessings that the dad missed out on. There's a 50-50 chance, or I should say, there's 50 million chances of what exactly the genetics of your child may end up being. Sunshine said y'all understand, but I don't know. I really don't know, y'all. I'll just say I couldn't stay forever. He got to be able to learn. He got to be able to facilitate additional items in the satisfaction route, but I can't be on only a self-satisfaction. He got to learn. He got to get me there some way that is consensual, of course. But I hope you're having these conversations with him, young lady. Y'all in your 30s. He's in his 30s. I wonder how many women prior to you have had this experience and this question, but hasn't stepped up to the plate to even ask other women, what are you doing? The ladies in the chat say, leave him. Get away from him. Don't be around him. I'm saying I have questions. Let's see. Leave him if he's unwilling to learn, unwilling to help you get there. And work with him if you can, if it's not frustrating, as Ari said. Because if it's frustrating, y'all gonna be frustrated alike, and the relationship gonna just fizzle out and go about his business. But give him an assessment. I'm hoping that he listens. I'm hoping that he understands. Give him an assessment. I'm not gonna go to route. I'm not gonna go to route. I'm going to trust your judgment. You didn't tell me size now, okay? You didn't tell me exactly mathematical size. So I'm going to trust that what you're saying is correct, that he's small and not the other way around. Because I'll be for my girls in this. You have asked the ladies for their advice. So I'm going to be with you. But next time somebody's asking about that and you say that size matters, I'm going to need to get some actual mathematical numbers so we can give a clear distinction in our unsolicited advice as to whether this is normal, this is what we have encountered in the past, or if you just have unrealistic expectations because you have been with men who've been blessed prior to this man. So y'all, let me know in the comments below. Let me know in the comments whenever we go live. I'm going to try and keep these to 30 minutes. We covered 3 different sections about money, about him and his lack of blessings. And I have some other stories coming up. So I'm hoping to keep these to a little 30-minute lunchtime chat. And I will see you on the next one. And if you have anything, send it to me on Instagram. It's my Instagram is on the bottom of this description. So let me know if there's anything out there that you want me to comment on or bring to the floor in this group. But I appreciate all of you who have been here. And I'll see you all next time.